Good morning. I am Giuseppina Muratore and I work at ISTAT, the Italian National Statistical Office, and I am expert on violence against women, victimization survey, and other crime recorded statistics. I am here to speak with you about is it possible to ask about sexual violence in a general victimization survey, or it's better to have a violence against women survey. I'm sure that it is quite better to have a dedicated survey on violence against women. In fact, collect data on sexual violence. It can be very hard if it is not well studied and planned. The risk can be of underestimation. And especially if you ask these kind of questions in a victimization survey, and especially victimization survey consider that the perpetrator is a criminal, is thought as a criminal one. While if you consider that a rape in the 70% of the cases are made by partner, intimate or former partner. So we need a specific attention because generally women that suffer sexual violence in intimate partnership, they consider that is just something that happened, just as common in violence in common relationships. So it is really hard to think to these questions inserted in a general victimization survey. Furthermore, it is very important to collect many informations, and it is not possible general in module survey. But it is also important that the disclosure be helped for victims, and at the same time also to look at ethical consideration and safety of victims themselves. So the important thing is to have a dedicated survey. But the problem is many countries can't have a dedicated violence against women survey. So the question is it possible to include a module? My answer is yes, but only if well done. So I will show you some little things regarding how to construct the module, the structure, the wording of a module, something that are very, very important. The interviewers, recruitment, training, the target population, kind information, and safety consideration. Just to start. So first of all, it is strategic. Then when to add when you want to ask about sexual violence, intimate partner violence, physical violence, it's very important to give space to this topic and not ask limited questions that are in different places of the main survey. So it's really important to have a dedicated module that is as a micro-survey, how to say a survey in miniature. This is the only way to do it. This is the only good way to be assured that there will be no underestimation when we have to estimate violence against women. The module has to be planned as an ad hoc survey, but in a shorter way. And this is also very helpful for safety point of view of victims, obviously. There are the UN guidelines regarding how to carry out also a module regarding violence against women, and they are very useful. I think that a module will have a screening of questions for both physical, sexual violence, and also psychological violence. And the best is that more screening are very important. Disclosure violence, it is one for non-partners, at least one for partners, current or former partners. Another important thing. The questions regarding violence against women have been described as event-based episodes. And no ask regarding technical, no using technical words, no juridical words, and no name violence. Because women that are victimized of sexual abuse or physical abuse, they don't recognize it as violence. Another important thing is that the module has to be put at the end of the main questionnaire. This is very important for the main questionnaire because in a victimization survey, for instance, it does not affect the main results of the survey, but at the same time, it's important and the respondents can think to this new aspect that you are asking about violence that is not distracted by other thoughts. And it's also very important because at the end of the interview, you have already created a better confidence climate between interviewers and interviewees. But which kind of interviewers? You have to look at it. You have to absolutely recruit them in a good way. It's a better female interviewers, if it's possible, depends from countries. But it's really much more better and well-trained. The training is a very, very important thing. And it has to cover many, many different aspects and communication too. And it's very good if a psychologist is in the team too. But if you can't, it's also a good thing. Another important aspect regard the target of the population. Sometimes when you want to interview women or a particular age target, perhaps generally they are from 16 or 18 to 70 or to 65. Is it possible? It's better also for this reason to have this module at the end of the service so that people are not skipping from part to the others. Another aspect regards the information that are the main important to collect in this kind of survey. Obviously, if you have an ad hoc dedicated violence against women survey, you can have a much more space. But in this context, which is the best important things? Which are the best important things? Prevalence, the number of victims of physical, sexual, psychological, economical violence. That is, how is it possible to answer also to the UN indicators that are the main important thing. But at the same time, we have to understand also other priority. It's true that it's very important to consider the risk of to be a victim. And this is very useful to put inside in the module some questions regarding the intergenerational transmission of violence. And perhaps two questions can be chosen as the main important to estimate these. Other things is very important, seriousness and awareness. Seriousness, I mean, the main important questions are about injuries and felt life in danger during the episodes of violence. But also, it's possible to collect data regarding seriousness when you ask about physical violence. Is it possible to organize them from the least serious to the most serious one? And if there isn't not many spaces for questions, generally it can be 7, 8 regarding physical abuse, it's possible to be added, for instance, at least 3 questions regarding physical abuse. This is just to have an example. Another aspect of it that is very important is awareness. This is an aspect very important to monitor policies. That is, for instance, to understand how victims consider the event, the violence episode that they suffer. It is a crime, or just something happened, or something wrong. If you have in trends differences, it means that a lot good works had been done. Another aspect is the reporting rate to the police, or seeking the ability of women for seeking for help in shelters, and the satisfaction of policy. These are very good in understanding what is changing and what not in awareness, And they are very, very good, very, very important to monitor policies and change, cultural change above all. When summarizing, there are many other things to do, but I think that these are the main important. So if it is not possible to have a dedicated survey, it's very important to have an ad hoc module, and that you have a survey as a little survey, but as a real survey in another biggest one. Some attention, some warning, sorry. Pay attention to the context of ongoing survey. Is it good enough? Demographic survey are okay. Health survey are good enough. Victimization, yes, but with a lot of attention. The tool, the questionnaire have to be very well, of the module have to be very well constructed. Attention to wording, type of questions used, structure of the module, and sequence in the module and of the module in the main questionnaires. And attention to kind of information collected, and a lot of attention to safety. You have never say when interviewing victims or the population to say that you are speaking about a violence topic. People have to approach very slowly to the topic. And if you, for instance, you send a letter before, never speak that. Never say, never write that you are doing a violence against women survey, because it really increases safety of the victims in the household. And methodological rigorousness and good sample, good quality in data collection, this is very helpful in disclosure. I thank you.